What up? Yeah, I was just thinking for a sec. It's crazy. Nobody talks about this type of stuff. You know what I mean? But like, nobody wants to talk about stuff like this. But my experience, like being homeless, I don't do no drugs. I smoke my weed. That's it. That's not a drug. If you wanna call that a drug, okay. Like that's your life. You know what I mean? That's whatever, right? But I mean, and I'm in Canada, it's legal, you know what I mean, for a reason. You know, they backpedaled on everything they said about it for a reason, because they were wrong. But that's not exactly what I'm talking about. My point being is that being homeless, the only way you're gonna get support or help from anybody is if you're a drug addict. I've been in shelters where they're like, "Are you addicted to any type of drugs?" I'm like, "No." They're like, "Sorry, you can't stay at this homeless shelter." I'm like, "Okay, is there another one?" They're like, "No, unfortunately, there's no other shelters in this town." And I'm like, "What?" I'm like, "You're telling me I have to be on drugs in order to just come to a shelter if I have nowhere to go? If I'm traveling all around Canada, like, you know, and somebody steals my tent or who knows what, you're telling me that I can't come to the shelter unless I'm a drug addict?" And they're like, "Yeah." And I'm like, "So what about, where's all the help and resources for the people that don't do drugs?" You know what I mean? It's like, also, you know, there is no support. There's no funding. These shelters don't get funded and don't get support unless there's people with drug addictions that are residing in them. So I don't have nothing against people with you know, drug addictions and shit like that. Anyway, so I think my point is that, you know, there's no help for people that need the help the most. Like, you know what I mean? There's help for people. This is the thing. You may look at it like, okay, well, you know what? People that have addictions need help the most because they have addictions, which may be true, you know? But at the same time, it's not. Because the thing is that there's people, listen, it's, they have to first conquer their addiction before they can get a job, before they can get a house, before they can get a wife, kids. Like, the first thing they need to fix is the drug problem. You know what I'm saying? Then they can move up. And I've been there. You know what I mean? So, but in the end of the day, it's just fucked up. Like, I remember working full time, being at a homeless shelter, and I'm working full time, you know, and that was the thing. They don't get funded after 30 days. You get kicked out because they no longer, they, like, unless you're a drug addict, the government doesn't fund your bed. The government doesn't fund uh, you staying at this homeless shelter. They do it in that manner now, at least where I'm at, through BC Housing and all that shit. You know what I mean? So it's like, if you're not a drug addict for crystal meth, heroin, like hardcore drug addict, crack, like, you know, hardcore, a real drug, a chemical drug. You know what I mean? One that is gonna, you know, whatever. We get the, I don't even know why I have to explain that. There's always that dumb person in the comments, "Oh, while he's smoking a joint, talking about don't do drugs." Like, bro, you can't be that stupid. You just, like, you know what I mean? You can't be that petty. You can't be that stupid. You know what I mean? Like, you you can't be that uneducated. You know what I mean? Because you need to educate yourself on, you know, on what this plant is. You know what I mean? If that's your, you know, view on things. Like, bottom line is, it doesn't matter. I can't get any help anywhere in my country unless I'm a crackhead. That's the facts. Those are the facts. I can't stay at a homeless shelter unless I'm a drug addict. So the drug addicts, yeah, they're squeezing all the resources. For the guy that has a full-time job, that just wants to better himself, that has already conquered his vices, you know what I mean? Other than, you know, maintaining, you know, you know, poverty, still touched by poverty. Like, bottom line is, you know what I mean? Why are you making it hard for the guy that's working, came up off the ground, you know, from the dirt, no family, no parents, you know, that's working full time, and trying to get himself elevated out of the situation that he's in. And the shelter is burdening my capabilities of doing that. And they're stopping my ability to prosper. They're literally stopping it, creating me to stay in homelessness. And this is the truth. This is really what's happening all over my country. Like, I've been all over Canada, Ontario, BC, Alberta. I've been everywhere, and it's the same thing everywhere, and it's psychotic. It is mind-blowing. You would never know unless you became homeless, and then you're going to go to a homeless shelter like, yeah, my house burned down, and fucking, you know what I mean, this and this and that. And they're going to, like, be like, oh, well, do you do heroin, or do you smoke meth or crack? You're like, no, why? Just because I'm homeless, that means I have to be a drug addict? Well, yeah, to stay here, unfortunately, you need a drug addiction for us to get our funding from the government for you to stay here. I've literally been told that by shelter staff on my father's grave up and down. Okay, I've already spoken to the shelter staff, and a lot of them are sickened by it. They disagree with it, but they're there for a paycheck. You know what I mean? And that's another problem. You got people working at homeless shelters that don't give a fuck about homeless people, that could care less if they died and want them to die. You know what I'm saying? And are disgusted by homeless people, but they work at a homeless shelter, and you can see the disgust in their face. They're angry all the time. They are miserable. They hate their job. People like that shouldn't be, working at a homeless shelter. You know what I mean? Period. That's what I'm trying to say. People that work those type of jobs, that is a career goal for somebody that wants to help somebody. That's not for you just because you see that as an easy 2-year course and you're making $26 an hour to start. Because that's what people are doing. And that's why there's corruption, that's why there's distortion, and that's why there's abuse to the homeless and all this stuff. And this is just feeding back into the cycle of the crime rate and to the addiction issues and all of that shit. It's just feeding the fire, just throwing gasoline in the fire. And it's probably the reason that created the fucking mess in the first place. So bottom line is, you can't get well in a sick environment. And these homeless shelters are sick, okay? The staff are sick. That's why I tent. That's why when I travel, I tent. I don't go to the shelters. I've already experienced abuse in a homeless system, you know what I mean? And then I realized that these people are literally working against you. I swear to God. I made it out of the shelter into a hotel program that they were helping, with through a government program or something where they like pay half the rent for the winter time in a hotel, you know what I mean, to help you get on your feet. And then they said, once you do that for 4 months, then we put you in another hotel which is up the street, and that's a more permanent situation. That's a 2-year stretch. You do good there, then you have references, you have credibility. That's not a problem for me. I've never had problems with references or being a liability in any way when it comes to renting, or I've never had issues in my life, so then they all of a sudden they were like, oh, we never said that we were going to put you in that hotel. That's the whole plan. Why would I go to this hotel for 4 months, wait on this next movement without looking for a place? I stopped looking for a place because you were already guaranteed me the next movement. You literally guaranteed it. You said you're going to go here for 4 months, then you're going to go here and that's a 2-year, it's a longer, more permanent place. They literally said that to me. I wouldn't get that twisted. I would say, are you sure? Because if not, I should probably start looking for places within that 4-month time frame, right? So that way, before the 4 months is up in the hotel, I jump into another place, a more permanent place, right? And then I maintain from there. No. They waited until the last second to tell me that I wasn't going there. Literally the last day, I freaked out, okay? I was like, you guys are doing this on purpose. There's no way you can make a mistake like that. There's no way that you're going to tell me that I made a mistake like that. Okay, I know I'm not going to allow myself to get put back into the same situation that I was just in. Okay, I know what I'm doing. This is my life. You know what I mean? You can't tell me who I am, what I'm thinking, who I am, what my morals and goals are. I'm pretty sure I know myself. And you got to be kidding me. Why would I just do that for no reason? Okay? I don't, you know what I mean? I'm not going to go into a hotel for 4 months just to go back to the homeless shelter. And they did that on me on purpose. I had absolutely no time to look for another place. Sorry, man. Come on. And you know what I mean? I didn't have enough time to look for a place. And they caught me off guard on purpose. All that shit was on purpose. And this is not the first time. You know what I mean? I already made a video about this, and it got 62,000 views. You know what I mean? Corruption. So how is it that possible that you can start from scratch? You could be working, you could be going to a shelter, and they're working against you to burden your ability to prosper. That is sickening. That is disgusting. That is the reality, and that is just not fabricated at all. Like that's really it. I could get 100 people off the street to be like, yeah, that's exactly what they do, and it's a cycle of that, continuously, relentlessly, to the homeless, attacking the homeless. Okay, they're targeted, man. I'm telling you, that's the thing. Low income people are targeted, and it's in such a strategic way that you can't see it, and it just looks like a bunch of, bum assholes that don't want to work, lazy motherfuckers that don't, they're collecting a check and complaining about it. But it's not. It's not that. Once you've been in the streets and you looked and you seen this, bro, I am out here, dog. Like, I've been in the streets. I've been through the system. I've had the nice job with the nice apartment with the skylight. How many times do I gotta tell you this? I've been the guy with the money. I did it all. So who the fuck can tell me? It's not possible. You do it first and then you tell me about it. And I guarantee you didn't. I got the proof. It's all there. That's why I document. That's why I started Corey Resilient. Because nobody can tell me no more. I'm going to document the whole process and document all the proof in between. And then how the hell are you going to argue with me? And then I'm going to help people at the same time. It's not even about this dumbass, fools that want to, just be a Tekashi 6ix9ine troll. You know what I mean? It's not even about that. Somebody was hating on me because I smoke spliffs. I'm 28 years old, man. I used to smoke blunts when I was from 14 all the way up. Like 5-10 blunts a day. Like, that's not cool anymore. That's what I mean. People's state of mind, bro. Like, I'm so elevated past the majority. Like, bro, it's just... I literally... And that's why I isolate myself. Because people are literally so far away from my frequency and so, like... just so blank that I it's just complete distortion for me to be around that. Like, it literally just, it makes me sick, physically, mentally, spiritually, in every single way. That's why I stay to myself. Anyways, you know what I mean? Like, bottom line is, this system is, I promise you, it is built to be against you. It becomes more apparent as you go further down the ranks. And man, it's nasty. Like, bro, like, that's what I mean. Like I said, the homeless shelters are keeping people homeless. They're like, bro, like the staff were stealing, literally, like, they're like, we're gonna secure your belongings with us in a locked up container that is a camera pointing at it that nobody can steal from. And that was their whole thing at the front door as soon as I came in. And I'm like, okay, all right, yeah, if it's locked up, nobody is allowed to go in there and there's a camera on it, then sure, because I actually have valuables. I'm not a drug addict, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't sell my stuff, like, you know what I mean? Like, hello, like, automatically the system assumes that that's the lifestyle you live, and it just treats you like that immediately. Like, bro, I'm the only person everywhere I go in the streets that's not on drugs. And I'm the only one that doesn't get any help or any resources or any support from any support units, systems, government, nothing. Like, you know what I mean? I'm not even allowed to go to some of the shelters are specifically only get funded for people with drug addictions. And they told me that straight up. And they're like, I know, it's crazy. I know it's not right. I know, but I gotta feed my kids. And I'm like, wow, this is the system. This is what the system has done to us, turned us against each other. And then when you're down at your last on the bottom, that's when they apply the pressure the most and just put your foot on his throat and let him die. Like, you know what I mean? Get that out of the way. That's what the system's all about. And I survived for so long unfazed and unaffected because I don't do drugs. I stay away from drugs. everything natural. Every single day, I'm walking kilometers a day. Every single day, I'm getting exercise. I got a gym pass. Like, you know what I mean? Like, the only thing I do that's probably not good is smoking the cannabis. The cannabis was never meant to be, inhaled into your lungs. It was meant to be consumed as an herb. You know what I mean? Like other, like most healing herbs and plants that you're supposed to not consume, and that you're not supposed to put smoke into your lungs. So that's unnatural. But cannabis is natural, and it's natural to consume cannabis. It's been scientifically proven now. All the science that they had before has now been proven to be faulty, to be inaccurate, and now they're saying sorry. Oh, sorry, we messed up. Here, we're gonna legalize it now. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it actually has a lot of medical benefits, but we're only gonna say that now because we want to tax it and benefit from it and profit from it. That's now we're gonna admit that we're wrong because now we're gonna tax it. Okay, yeah, okay. So it works either way on their side. They win-win. You know what I mean? So if you can't see this shit, I don't know what's wrong with you. And it was a healing plant, and it was in contradiction to the pharmaceutical industry. You know what I mean? Because pretty much like 95% of the things that you mask with your pharmaceutical pills, this plant right here cures from the source permanently. Without becoming drug addicted to a man-made chemical, a real drug, that gets you stuck and sick and makes you die and kills millions and millions of people. Weed never killed nobody unless there's some fentanyl in it, which was made for man. Like, it's a man-made chemical. That's what I'm saying, man. You don't get it. Everything is a lie, bro. It's all backwards. So bottom line is, don't be putting down the homeless. Don't be, you know what I mean? And as for, I understand. I stand up for the broken, the weak, for the people that are struggling with drug addictions and all that, because I've been there and I've seen it. And I've also been a drug dealer to be there to fucking, help somebody on their way out to, ruin their lives. So I've seen both sides of the fence. And I've also lost I lost my first love. I grew up with her from, 15 years old. We were kids together, you know what I mean? And that was my first love, as a kid. And she died, you know what I mean? From fentanyl, I guess. She never did drugs when I knew her, but later down the road, when I went, we went our separate ways. Boom, she ends up dead. Lost another ex to that. She lost her mind. She was a really nice chick, like, you know what I mean? She was really good looking. She was clean. She had a family, had, dad and mom. Like, she wasn't broken from the streets like that. And the streets got a hold of her, and the drugs got a hold of her, and boom, she's a street chick, and she lost her mind. Apparently, she doesn't even remember me, hasn't never changed her Facebook picture for like 3.5 years, like 4 years. Like, and everyone said that she lost her mind and she's not the same person anymore. And she doesn't make no sense when she talks now. So the drug melted her brain, pretty much caused real brain damage. And now that makes sense why, she wasn't. And that makes sense. You know what I mean? Why she hasn't contacted me in so long. So bottom line is, I've seen it from all angles, and I've felt it affect my life personally, and also, from when I was like, 14 to almost probably about 18, I did ecstasy, cocaine, prescription pills, mushrooms, drinking, partying, smoking weed. I did all that stuff. I didn't do no hard drugs though. I didn't do no meth, no heroin, no needles, no crazy shit like that. Like, it was, you know what I mean? It was like Valiums, like, lorazepam, like, clorazepam, like, not even opiates. I didn't even touch the opiates. Never fucked with the opiates. I was smart. I knew that not to fuck with those. Those were dark, and I didn't go near that shit. Even when I was a teenager, I wasn't. There was something that made me feel like, nah, that's for the weirdos. Like, keep that away from me, like. But I overcame all of that, you know what I mean? So I have a power, like, I have a blessing. That's my blessing, is that I made it out of all that mess, you know what I mean? But like I said, unfortunately, there's gonna be, like, when you have an addiction, you have to stop making excuses. You have to stop letting the system enable it. You know what I mean? Because they're making it easy for you to be drug addicted. They're making it easily available for you to deliver the drugs to you. You know what I'm saying? So you can't let the system do that to you. You know?
Yeah. That was awesome. Thank you so much.
Can't let the system do that to you, because that's what it's doing on purpose by design, and it's there to destroy us. And then, you know what I mean, I get caught up in the life because I don't, grew up in the streets since I was, a young kid, and there was no influence, and I was just out in the street, and the streets inherited me, and I learned how to survive in the streets, and it brings you up differently than everybody else got brought up. So then you're an outcast, and then you're on the outside, and then society looks at you like you're a piece of shit, and then makes puts you down and makes it so you don't even want to be a part of it. You don't even want to be a part of it. And then you're not a part of it, now you're a fucking bum. Now you're a loser. Oh, you don't want to be a part of it? Okay, well, you're a bum. You don't want to be a part of our slave system, because we're all miserable and we're working for crumbs, and we hate our lives, and we put each other down. Okay. I hate you. Like, yeah, I would too. I freed myself, and I didn't. You know what I mean? I tried to, whatever. But I'll find a way. I'll make myself useful in a way that benefits others. You know what I mean? And I'll make myself useful in a way that benefits others. That I can get money for. I can get paid for. I'm still young, you know what I mean? I'm still going to go back to school, you know what I mean? I'm going to, I went to take social services in college, I didn't finish the upgrading in the English. I didn't finish the upgrading or whatever. But, bottom line is, man, just know that it's crazy. The system is built, against you. And when you end up in a situation where you're homeless, if you're not a drug addict, you don't even get a bed. You don't get no reason. You don't get no help. You know what I mean? All the help is being, basically, consumed by the people that are drug addicted. You know what I mean? And they're not trying to pull out of it, So it's like, well, that's the thing. Like, you know what? If I did it, I mean, I know there's worse things. You know what I mean? But I've seen people turn it around. You just gotta have to want it, and you gotta fight for it. You want life, you gotta fight for it. You know what I mean? If you want life, you gotta fight for it, bro. It's not, you know what I mean? You gotta straight up just do it. Dive off the deep end, like, you know what I mean? Don't look back. You know what I'm saying? Just, if you know it's good for you, just throw yourself into it. You know what I mean? Like, so you gotta just snap out of it, man. You gotta snap out of it. This drug addiction enabling and all this shit. And you're just sitting there, it's a disease, it's a part of my life, and that's what the system programmed you to think. So you can never conquer it because you've accepted it as an internal disease that's just naturally there. So why would you try to fight something like that? You're only fighting yourself, right? Oh, I'm just going to be myself and just keep doing drugs all my life. Well, you know what? The system taught you that. There you go. They said it's a disease. That's the biggest lie ever. You know what I mean? I'm telling you. And then all the disability checks and the welfare checks, they go right back to the government again. Because the homeless shelters, like the Salvation Army out here in BC, they charge you $5.50 a month from if you're on welfare disability, or even if you're working. They charge you $5.50 a month to live in a homeless shelter. And the Salvation Army, which is supposed to be a Christian church, okay, it's supposed to be free. It's supposed to be for people that are homeless, that have no incomes, that are struggling. That's why it's there in the first place. That's why the entire idea existed in the first place, okay? So that's where it founded from. And now the Salvation Army's charging $5.50 a pop for every single person, and there's 30 people in a dorm. So you're paying $5.50 a month to live in a dorm with 30 men. Smelly, like, other people are on drugs, staying up all night, keeping you up, and then you're supposed to go to work. You know what I mean? And you've been up all night from these, people tripping out, bugging out, and they just enable it. They allow it. Out here, you're in the shelters, and there's just people doing needles. There's people doing everything. Like, they let it. So, and then I'm like, I gotta go to work, and they're like, sorry, that person's bed is funded because they're a drug addict, so they're gonna have more pull than you. Like, we'll get rid of you before we get rid of him, because that's money in our pockets. That's our paycheck, secured, guaranteed. That's our job, guaranteed security, you know? That's the truth, man. That is the real truth. Coming from the streets, right from the streets, bro. Like, you know what I mean? Like, where are you at? Don't be trying to give me advice because you touched the street for 3 days, bro. I've been in the street for fucking like my whole life since I was 15 years old. You don't even know what that takes. You have no idea what I've had to face outside, bro. Like, and in these shelters, there's halfway houses upstairs to every Salvation Army. There's killers in there that they're getting off of manslaughter charges, bro. And who did you think they go for every time? It's always me. Because I look like this. You know what I mean? Because I am who I am. You know what I mean? Like, and they can see it in my face. They can see it in my face, bro. See it in my eyes. You know what I mean? And then they just want to, you know, they want to see if I got the juice, you know? You know? So it's like, fuck. You don't even got to talk. People just want to see if you got the juice, you know? And then they find out I do, and then here I am in a huge, crazy situation where now there's retaliation, now there's bigger guys coming for me, and now, oh, you fucked up with the wrong person, you stabbed the wrong guy, you fucking punched the wrong guy, and blah, blah, blah. Well, I turn up on site, and that's what I do. I don't give a fuck who you're affiliated with. I don't care, I'll deal with that later. I'm gonna get out of the situation immediately. I'm not getting beat up, I'm not getting poked, I'm not getting fucking shot, like, or none of that shit. I'm gonna make sure of it because I'm thinking about that 24 hours a day. I'll live my life like that. Call me paranoid, I don't care. I'm ready, like, all the time. You know? It's not gonna happen, man. But that's what I mean, like, bro, it's bad, right? And I've only wanted good for my life. I've only wanted to do good and you know, rent a house, you know, with a couple people that also work or go to school, you know what I mean, and get a dog, get a puppy. My dog died. I had a husky timber wolf, you know, she lived to be 14 years old. My dad died, and then 4 months later my dog died, and then like a couple months later my cousin overdosed. Like, he lived, but he was never the same, you know. And you know, I've been in the streets all my life, and then taking all these L's and all these hits in my heart, bro. Like, bro, I am so, you have no idea. If anybody needs to do some fucking drugs, it's me, bro. You know what I'm saying? If anybody should give up, buckle, and fold, and fucking just stick a fucking needle in my arm and fucking do some heroin, it's probably fucking me. And then I'm under attack constantly 24 hours a day by people. And then there's people fucking rolling around thinking that they're gonna beat the shit out of me or they're gonna fucking kill me when they find me, or worse, you know what I'm saying? And those are all realities that I have to face on a daily basis. It's crazy. You know, and I still don't care. I'm like out here sticking my chest, like, because I'm not gonna live in fear. If it's my time, it's my time, you know. But I'm still gonna move right because that's how I am. I'm just built like that, you know. I'm programmed like that. I'm just gonna move in the right way, and I'm gonna dodge a lot of bullets and a lot of trouble because I don't give in to these vices and these temptations no more, bro. You know what I'm saying? Females, I don't chase pussy. You know what I'm saying? I don't do that when no more. Like, when I was young, yeah, that was the every weekend. I'm like, boom, I'm like, yo, cop a bottle. I'm like, yo, call some chicks. Like, you know what I mean? Let's get it in. Let's make it happen, you know. And that was every single weekend. That was the goal, you know. But now it's far from that. It's the opposite of that. I'm like, I run into opportunities to meet women, and I'm fucking like trying to get out of it. Like, I'm like, fuck this. I already know how this is gonna go. Like, and I can't spare no more nothing. You know what I mean? I can't give you nothing, bitch. Like, yo, I'm done. These bitches got all the fucking life out of me they can get so far. That's it. Ain't no more life to give you, or I'll be dead. Straight up. Should have already been dead. But I'm not playing that shit. You know what I mean? You know, if it's right, I'll know. And I'll be right. And I'm not where I need to be or where I want to be or where I see myself. So I can't expect, you know, to have what I desire if I'm not where I desire to be, you know what I mean? In the end of the day, right? And I'm okay with that. Anyways, that's all I gotta say. I'm off. Stay resilient. I got monetized again. My videos got. I don't know how long that's gonna last, but shout out to YouTube. Thanks for that. Appreciate that. I don't know how long that's gonna last. I have a hard time not swearing and like, you know, uh, saying real shit a lot of the time, and that will get you in trouble, in many different ways. Unfortunately, that's the world we live in. I mean, and they think that's cool. They think that's gangsta. Fucking weirdos. Anyways, peace out, man. Have a good day.